Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, that's Dan, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. Welcome, welcome. It's the start of the week. Hopefully, you will have as good a week as I am planning to. Of course, I am joined, as I am every day, by Dan the Radio Man. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well today. Yes.
Yeah? How was the weekend?
It was good. Relaxing.
Relaxing.
Yes.
All your friends doing exams, right?
Yes.
So you didn't hang out at all?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Mario Kart?
No, I didn't play Mario Kart.
No? What did you do, dude?
I played guitar.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. I didn't practice anything last night.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I spent all day Saturday, practically, with my girlfriend's sister. She's pregnant with her husband. We played some video games. Have you ever heard of the game Exit 8?
No.
I think it's a Japanese horror game. So we played that. We played all sorts of things. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you for asking, dude. Other than that, did nothing. Just relaxed, man. My dogs, as you know, are violently ill. So I've tried my best to remain sane while still keeping my floors clean. Anyway, and you guys, how was your weekend? Of course, you can join us live on twitch.tv. twitch.tv/professional bohemian. You can also interact with the show outside of our live times. You can do that on my Instagram, which is @professionalbohemian. Or if you're extra especially sexy, cool, charming, handsome, influential, amazing, beautiful, then you can join me on my Patreon, of course, which is also Professional Bohemian. Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. While we're talking about Instagram, Dan, we should tell people, right? Deberíamos decirlo. Las noticias. The most important news. If you're a Vaughan Radio fan, listener, if you're an aficionado of your favorite radio station right here at Vaughan, then you should be following us, friends, on Instagram. That's @Vaughan Radio. Couldn't be more simple. That account will soon be full of entertaining and educational information and facts. Right now, you'll see all your favorite shows. Do drop them a like and do leave a follow. A lot of work has gone into creating that account, so we'd love you to love it as much as we do. All right. Let's see who's joining us live right now. Vero is the first person in. How are you doing, Vero? Good morning. She says, good morning, beautiful bohemians around the universe and beyond. Artemisa's here. Good morning, my bohemian friends. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too, Artemisa. So if you want to be as cool, charming, sexy as these guys, it's very simple. twitch.tv/professional bohemian. All right. Should we see what's coming up today, Dan? Another controversial one. For some people, not so much for others. We're talking about favorites, favoritos, particularly, Dan, as it pertains to children. So today's unpopular opinion is parents almost inevitably. Why did I use the word inevitably when the word in Spanish is almost impossible for me to pronounce? I have no idea. Parents almost inevitably have a favorite child. Los padres casi inevitablemente tienen un hijo favorito. How did I do, Dan? 1 to 10. Well, okay, thank you. And today's 100 humans, we asked them to name a reason a child might be the parent's favorite. Nombra una razón por la que un hijo podría ser el favorito de sus padres. Almost taking it as read that you're going to vote through today, but we'll see how you voted in a little while. And of course, we'll put it to the vote of all our amazing live listeners in a little while. First of all, we should turn our attention to some news, Dan. If you had to do your grado, your carrera otra vez, another time, if you could have a do-over, what would you study, Dan?
I don't know, maybe something related to camera.
Okay, so more visual in the audiovisual, but you'd stay in the audiovisual field, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what, Dan? Me too, man. Me too. I'll probably stick around the media world. What a lot of people are finding, because there was a shift, wasn't there? Everyone wanted to do marketing in the early 2000s, and then that kind of got broke by 2010, and everybody made the shift to programming or computer science. And then something happened. The advent of AI has thrown all that into turmoil. However, The Atlantic today has another view. There has never been a better time to study computer science, they say. Nunca ha habido un mejor momento para estudiar ciencias de la computación. Is that really the translation for computer science? It's a mouthful.
I guess you can say that way.
Yeah. So computer science suddenly feels like a much riskier bet than it did a few years ago. Recent graduates are struggling to find work. Student enrollment is falling, and many people are wondering whether AI has already started to replace the very jobs computer science degree was supposed to unlock. What used to be sold as a near guaranteed path to into tech now feels far less certain, especially for newcomers trying to break into the industry. Again, I don't want to harp on about this, but it's interesting that The Atlantic is now jumping on board the bandwagon. However, they do say that it's never been a better time, right? So why? The deeper point is that coding is changing but not disappearing. AI tools are getting very good at routine programming, particularly the kind of work once handed to junior developers, and companies are already relying heavily on AI-generated code. That shift makes the traditional entry path harder, but does not mean coders are doomed. It means the value of studying computer sciences now may lie less in writing basic code from scratch and more in understanding systems, solving problems, and learning how to work effectively alongside increasingly capable AI tools. I'm not sure I completely agree, Dan. Do you agree with this assessment?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, basically, AI is robbing basically those positions, the basic coding positions that used to be reserved for entry-level coders. So how do they get a foot in the door? Yeah, interesting English idiom there. A foot in the door. Un comienzo, right? A foot in the door. To their first step on the career ladder, right? How are they supposed to start when now, instead of hiring junior programmers, companies are simply leaning on AI tools, right? Let's see what people are saying. I got a nivelazo from Vero for my... Thank you, Dan. Yeah, thank you, Vero. I need your encouragement, particularly today because I forgot my glasses. I left them at home. Carmen says, good morning, friends. Good morning, Carmen. Welcome. It's not an easy word to say. Inevitablemente. Thank you. Artemisa, ingeniera informática, I think we would call it in Spain. Oh, come on, Dan. Let's give her one. Come on.
Vaya nivelazo.
Ingeniera informática, computer science. Here, of course, the elves translated this as ciencias de la computación. My brother Ruben studied computer engineering. At his moment, it was called ingeniera informática. Thank you. Out of curiosity, Vero, how does he see the panorama, as you would say it? How does he see the field of computer science now with the advent of AI? Is he noticing changes? Are junior programmers now being left aside in favor of cheaper AI tools? Oh, wow, you say the same thing in Spanish. Patada en la puerta. A foot in the door. Is that an idiom in Spanish, Dan? You don't know, do you?
I don't know. Never heard it, though.
It's ingeniería. Ingeniería. Thank you, Vero. Oh, no, thank you, Carmen. My God. All right, let's do another piece of news, shall we? Oof. I don't want to... do you want to hear some more AI news, Dan? Of course you don't. But I'm going to ask you just out of curiosity, do you? No, he doesn't. Okay, let's talk about spying, Dan. Ordinary Wi-Fi can now identify people with near-perfect accuracy. El Wi-Fi convencional ahora puede identificar personas con una precisión casi perfecta. Researchers in Germany say ordinary Wi-Fi routers may be able to identify people with near-perfect accuracy by... Oh, God damn it. The internet here in the studio is the worst. Let's continue. You can, with near perfect accuracy, by analyzing how radio waves bounce off their bodies. Using standard wireless signals and AI, the system can reportedly recognize individuals even if they are not carrying a device or have turned off their smartphone, because other connected devices on the network still generate enough signal activity. This is terrifying, Dan. We've invited 3D kind of sonar cameras into our homes. I mean, I imagine you have a Wi-Fi router at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, me too, dude. How do you feel about this? This is kind of freaky. Unlike earlier experimental setups that required specialized hardware, this approach works with common Wi-Fi equipment and uses unencrypted beamforming feedback information already exchanged between routers and devices. God, I mean, if they'd have told us in the mid 2000s that people would be able to track and recognize us based on the frequencies, the signals bounced around our homes by Wi-Fi, would we have been likely to invite them so readily into our homes? I mean, look, I'm not a Luddite. I do love technology. That's why I talk about it so much. But it does seem to be it's infringing ever more into our privacy. And ever more we shrug our shoulders and say, well, EK. So what? EK. Right? I don't know. Vero says, I suppose he is. He is noticing. That these entry-level positions are disappearing. Interesting. The findings raise major privacy concerns because Wi-Fi networks are everywhere and largely invisible, which could make this a powerful form of unnoticed surveillance in homes, offices, cafes, airports, and other public spaces. As someone from a different generation to me, Dan, does this worry you at all? Do you even care?
Not really.
Yeah, no, like, I ask you that in not so much of a glib way. I ask you that because I feel like if I'd have asked my grandparents this, they would have been outraged. Shock. What? We've invited these almost, I mean, in my mind, I picture it as sonar, as a bat would see, right? Just these signals bouncing off of different objects and people. And I imagine my grandparents would have been outraged by this. How do you feel about this in the chat? And then, slowly but surely, our perception of what privacy is and the net benefits for we as a society have started to be eroded, right? Eroded, buried underneath a heap of terms and conditions that nobody reads. And now, of course, we've exchanged our privacy in exchange for, these little dopamine hits we get from social media. We've exchanged it for convenience, the convenience of having a free Google Drive and email. In tests with 197 participants, the researchers reported nearly 100% accuracy, regardless of viewing angle or walking style. They warned that the technology could be misused by authorities, companies, or others to track people without consent. The team is calling for stronger privacy protections in the upcoming IEEE 80211BF Wi-Fi standard plans. To present the work at the ACM conference on computer and communication security. How do you feel about this? Does it worry you? I mean, I think increasingly we are becoming less and less worried about how people know where we are, right? Even in some cases, I think we read a piece of news, both you and I, Dan, a couple of months ago, or perhaps maybe even nearly a year ago, where people are openly sharing their geographic location in specialized social media feeds. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. If we're willing to exchange that information so readily, do we really even care that our Wi-Fi could potentially be spying on us? Perhaps not. But I know what time it is now, guys. It's time for an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, today's unpopular opinion. Oh, here we go, friends. It is: parents almost inevitably have a favorite child. Los padres casi inevitablemente tienen un hijo favorito. What do you think, Dan? How do you think they voted on Instagram?
I hope they voted false.
They voted true, Dan. They voted true. The vote is still live. Last time I checked, it was 60-40. Now it's 62-38. Yeah, true is the vote. So I take it you're a false, right? You don't think parents have a favorite?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, that's my opinion.
That's your opinion. You think false. They don't have a favorite. You have a sister, right, Dan?
Yes.
That means the favorite is you. I mean, I hate to break it to you. If you voted false on this one, the favorite is probably you. I don't want it. See, I have to be really careful now that I don't use real world examples so as not to offend any of my friends. But look, is it such a big deal if parents have a favorite? Doesn't mean they love you less. And I think it doesn't mean they love you less, Dad. Go on, tell me.
That's exactly the meaning of having a favorite.
Look. When I was a teenager, Dan, I loved Iron Maiden. They were my favorite band. Then, as I grew older, it became AC/DC. Then, as I grew older, it became Metallica. And then, as I grew older, it became Nine Inch Nails. And then, as I grew older, etc. Doesn't mean I love Iron Maiden less than I did when they were my favorite band. Favorites change over time. Does that mean they don't have a favorite? No, of course not. But preference is a normal part of human experience. It's just that we see the idea of a parent having a favorite as some kind of blasphemy, don't we? Go on, Dan.
Don't compare
I can see you being so offended today.
Because you are comparing a child to a band of 40-year-old men.
They weren't 40 at the time, Dan. They weren't 40 at the time. No, I'm not. I am using a somewhat soft example, but I mean, I think it's everyone's kind of touchstone, right? We all have a favorite band, or we all have a favorite movie, or we all have a favorite, I'm sure there are times, Dan, where you weren't the favorite, where they wanted to kill you. A lot like my family. But that doesn't mean they love you less. I think love tends to be, for me, a condition you can't control. But a preference? We all have a preference, don't we? So I'm going to ask you to be very open-minded today as we go through the pros and cons, and I'll try not to offend you too much. Let's see. Okay, we're getting a lot of answers here in the chat already. Thank you, guys. Do fill up the chat with answers, and I will come back and read them in the second half, as I usually do. But yeah, true was the go-to answer, that parents inevitably have favourites. So let's get into it, shall we? Different personalities create different bonds. Parents naturally connect more easily with certain temperaments, interests, or communication styles. Quite right, don't they? Look, if one child is really well behaved, or one child ends up being successful or more affectionate, or perhaps they're just, by nature of their birth, the youngest tends to be the favourite, right? Are you the youngest, Dan, or is your sister the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Helpful personality. They have a similar personality to the parents. They get better grades, whatever the reason. I mean, it doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means at certain moments they're going to prefer one over the other. And we shouldn't demonize parents for just being normal human beings, should we? Carmen here says, poor Dan, and it's only Monday. Yeah. Children fulfill emotional roles. One child may be easier, more affectionate, more similar to the parent, or associated with happier life periods. Preference doesn't always mean less love. And I think this is key for us all to hold in our heads before we demonize poor parents who may have, at certain moments, favourite children. A parent can love all children deeply while still feeling more naturally drawn towards one. Right? Again, I don't want to use any more glib examples now because Dan's going to laugh at me. But the example I gave of bands or your favourite food. Look, I've loved pizza my entire life, but occasionally I want to get myself a curry and it becomes my favourite. Doesn't mean I love pizza any less. I know it's not a good example, Dan. Situational favoritism happens constantly. During different life stages, parents may feel closer to whichever child currently needs them less, understands them more, or causes less stress. And the final point here in the pro column, where 62% of people voted, the vote is still live on Instagram. Parents are human, not perfectly impartial. No, they're not human. They're angels. Come on. Sit down. take a deep breath of oxygen, and understand that your parents are just normal human beings, and preference is a part of the human experience, isn't it? Expecting complete emotional equality ignores how human relationships naturally work. You must have been in situations where you hate to love someone so much, right? Love isn't conditional on who is your favorite person in the world, is it? You can still love. But preference is a part of the human condition. We all have favorite everythings. Let's get into the cons, shall we? Los contras. Where 38% of people voted. Good parents can avoid favoritism. This is the myth that everyone seems to want to buy into. Love and preference are different. Parents may connect differently with each child without valuing one child more than another. Mature parenting requires self-awareness. Responsible parents recognize biases and actively work to avoid treating children unequally. I want to go over the wording here that the elves have used. Responsible parents recognize biases. Favoritism. They recognize it. And actively work to avoid treating children unequally. But just because you treat children unequally, and obviously that is the ideal, even if your parents are, for some point of time, preferring one over the other, like Dan's, they're going to treat both kids equally because they love both kids, right? And they don't want one kid to feel bad. Relationships change over time. Closeness fluctuates depending on age, circumstances, and development, making the favourite child too simplistic. I mean, I would argue here this should be in the true column, because of course relationships fluctuate over time. What is the child that is your favourite for a short amount of time may not remain your favourite. I think we spoke about this on the lunchtime show, did we, Dan?
I have my opinions about the lunchtime show program.
Yeah, you thought I know you did. You thought, wow, that was strong, right? Those aren't the words you used, but that's to paraphrase you, Dan. You thought, wow, that's strong, because Andy said there was a period of time where one of the kids was the favourite. For whatever reason, the stronger personality, the funnier sense of humour. But look, Andy's a human being. It doesn't mean she loves anyone less, but you can have a favourite and still love and treat both kids equally. However, you ask a parent to their face. I have done this before, Dan, and with your predecessor, Nacho, and I asked him to his face, like, do you have a favourite? No. I'm like, lies. Favoritism can be deeply harmful. Conscious effort against favoritism matters because unequal treatment can damage sibling relationships and self-esteem. Again, the elves here struggling to argue against the fact that favoritism exists, because they say conscious effort against favoritism matters. I mean, you wouldn't have to make a conscious effort if it didn't exist, would you? And the final point here, and again, I'm sorry, Dan, I'm coming strong this week. Different doesn't mean unequal. Children have different needs, and tailored parenting can look like favoritism without actually being it. A tough one today. A tough one. Are you a parent? I know there are lots of parents on Instagram, like over 100 people voted today. And I know a large percentage of them are actually parents. I don't want you to feel bad. Again, I don't want anyone to feel bad, because they have a natural preference. And that preference will change over time. I know, because I got a lot of messages from distraught parents saying, I voted true, but you need to understand that. Don't worry, I'm not judging. I'm not judging, because you're a human being, and I'm sure you don't treat the kids unequally, and you love them both dearly.
Well, I am judging.
You are judging. So Dan's judging you, but I'm not. So there you have it, folks. That's today's unpopular opinion. It is the parents almost inevitably have a favorite child. Los padres casi inevitablemente tienen un hijo favorito. True or false? So I'm going to post a poll in the chat, and I'm going to ask you to vote. All I will do is say to you that preference is a part of the human experience, as is love. And the two things are not necessarily linked. All right, before we head into the break and I post the poll for you guys to vote, I just want to remind you one more time, the team here at Vaughan Radio, we're putting a lot of effort into our new Instagram account. You will see more and more content being posted there. So I would like you to go ahead and follow @ Vaughan Radio on Instagram. Go and follow us there, please. You'll see immediately as you log in or as you go to the account, you'll see all of our shows, drop our photos alike, but more importantly, follow and be ready for some interesting and entertaining content. All right, unpopular opinion. Parents almost inevitably have a favourite child. True or false? Guys, we're going to take a very quick commercial break, just 4 minutes while you vote, and then we'll be back and we'll come to some kind of conclusion. See you in just a few minutes. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, PROBOH. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second part of this morning's ProBoh Show. It's 9 a.m. Central European Time, and you're joining me and Dan live. The poll is still live on... Sorry, Dan. You know what? Can I tell you what you said to me? I went in there and I said, Dan, I'm not a bad person, I promise. And what did you say? Yeah, mala persona.
Yes.
And you said, siendo hijo único... Do you know how to say hijo único in English?
Only child or something.
Only child? Give yourself a nivelazo, dude.
Vaya nivelazo.
It's true, I was an only child, but I was raised by my grandparents in great part, and I wasn't the favourite grandchild. So there you go. Toma. Anyway, let's continue. Doesn't mean they loved me less.
Ya se ha salido.
All right, so the poll is still live. Only a few of you have voted. I would ask more of you to do so. Otherwise, it's going to look very, very one-sided. What did we cover before we got into our unpopular opinion today? We looked at... an interesting article from the Atlantic that neither Dan nor myself, neither of us really agree with this, but interesting nonetheless, saying that there's never been a better time to study computer science. They say that, getting into a career in computer science, it's the perfect moment. However, they do say in the next breath, AI is robbing all those entry-level positions. So how the hell do they expect people to get a foot in the door? Un comienzo. How do they expect people to get a foot in the door in a career in tech when most of those entry-level positions are disappearing? I don't know. And then we moved into an interesting article about from Science Daily, how researchers in Germany say ordinary Wi-Fi routers like you and I, we have in our homes, may be able to identify people with near-perfect accuracy by analysing how radio waves bounce off their bodies. And that terrifying news for someone of my generation is met from Dan and I imagine his peers with a shrug. So what? Ike. It's an interesting... I do find it interesting, the evolution of our relationship to privacy. It's a difficult one to comprehend if you're of a certain generation that values privacy. Anyway, and then we moved into today's unpopular opinion, which is parents almost inevitably have a favourite child. You guys have been doing great work here in the audience. If you want to join our audience, by the way, twitch.tv twitch.tv/professional bohemian. Dan, you are not going to like the results of the poll. Spoilers. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Gigi says, true, we don't always admit it, but I think we tend to have a favourite. In my parents' case, my father was the firstborn boy and my mother was the youngest child. In my case, my favourite is the shyest. Having a favourite doesn't mean you favour one over the other. It's more of an emotional thing. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that assessment. You can have a favourite and it not impact the degree to which you love for people, right? You can have a favourite and have it not impact the amount of love you show. And as a parent, you're obliged not to show your favouritism. There, I would agree with you. You're obliged not to show it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Let's be honest. Because parents are humans too. Vero says, false paternal true love is the same for all their children. I just can't help but thinking anyone who votes false on this one is the favourite child. You would have voted false, right, Dan?
Yes.
How do you think your sister would have voted?
False as well.
Do you think? Yeah. Okay. Okay, look, I bow to your superior knowledge. I don't know your family situation, but, seems quite evident to me. Anyway, let's continue. Poor Dan, it's only Monday, says Cameron. Yeah, I know, poor guy. He suffers. Cameron says, y así salió lol. Yeah. Be careful. If you're going to have kids, have to. Anyway, let's continue. Artemisa here says, I'm a true today. I'm sorry, Dan. I think having a favourite child can happen naturally, but that doesn't mean you should show favouritism. On the other hand, children aren't the same person. They have different personalities and needs. In my opinion, treating them differently doesn't make you a bad parent, as long as neither child feels less loved. Of course, and I think it speaks to a level of maturity when you understand and recognise that your parents are just humans. And of course, at different moments, they're going to prefer a different child. Perhaps they're shyer. I don't know. I went over a list, didn't I? Did you make notes? Because today's 100 Humans is coming up. Perhaps one is more well-behaved. Maybe in later life, one is very successful, the other not, struggling. Maybe one is more affectionate. Maybe one, like Dan, is the youngest child. He's a false, by the way. Maybe one is more helpful around the house, or they have a similar personality to the parent, or they get better grades at school. There's a whole host of reasons why at a certain moment in time a parent might favour one child over another. But doesn't impact the level of love the parents will have, right? As long as the parent isn't, out and out demonstrating that favouritism, clearly. Sasha's with us. Hello, friends. Out of my 5 kids, I have 2 favourites, and they know who they are. Dan, I am not a bad person. I can see you looking at me and judging me. Let's see. My favourites are my eldest and my youngest. Thanks for... hopefully they don't listen to this show. Anyway. Yeah, but isn't that natural? Isn't it just part of the human condition? I think the idea that our parents are beyond reproach, that they are, they're going to act always in the most benevolent of ways when they're human. Do you always act in a unreproachable manner? Do you have favourites where you shouldn't really? I mean, if you've ever managed a team, right, and I have managed several teams, you always have a favourite person in that team. And sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to digress. And of course, being a manager is not the same as being a parent, Dan, okay? Being a parent is not the same as having a favourite band, I get it. But they are useful kind of touchstones to help people see a little bit more rationally this, what can be quite a delicate subject, right? Of course. Anyway, I did get some messages on Instagram. I'm trying to leave out, I have left out, I'm going to be honest, all the comments I've had from parents who voted true. Yeah, well, I voted true, but look, I'm not a priest. You don't have to come to me with confession. I understand. All right. Lorenzo Valenti says, most parents would deny it, but naturally they'll connect differently with each child. Of course. And I'm sure they love both kids, or all 3 kids, or all 5 kids in Sasha's case. The same. They demonstrate an equal amount of love, but in their heart, that's a terrible thing to say, but they will naturally connect differently with each child, won't they? Cassidy Reed says, having an easier relationship with one child isn't the same as loving them more. Yeah, exactly. Dan, do you know who my favourite is in the team?
I can guess it.
I bet you can't. See? And that's loving you all the same, Dan. That's loving you all the same. Anyway, Milos Petrovic says, people have favourites in every other part of life. Pretending family is completely exempt feels unrealistic. Yeah. But you all have people screaming from the rooftops that, no, my mum and dad don't have favourites. You know what we call those people? The favourites. Eleanor Hayes says, I don't think parents think in terms of favourites, even if the dynamics vary between children. No, because, I mean, I don't think any parent wants to admit they have favourites, do they? No parent wants to admit that, not even to themselves. I mean, would society be any better if parents admitted it to themselves? No, it's just a quirk, isn't it? It's just a quirk of nature that we feel obliged to exalt parents, right? To put them on a pedestal and say they're beyond any kind of favoritism. But look, your parents are human beings, right? Your parents are human beings, flesh and blood, just like you. And of course, they're going to have favourites. Sasha here, joining us from Australia, says, my mum's favourite is my youngest sister, as she has Down syndrome and is an angel and doesn't cause havoc. Me and my middle sister are the black sheep of the family. I'll be a grandma in 5 weeks. Oh my God, Sasha. She's going to be a grandma in 5 semanas. Ole, congratulations. So I get to have a favourite granddaughter too. Dan. All right, here we go. You know what I'm going to ask you? Have we shifted your needle at all today?
Do you really want me to say my answer?
Are you going to say no? Come on.
No,
go on.
I haven't.
You still think, no, my parents don't have a favourite?
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course you can say something.
Parents are the role model for their child, their
Yes.
kids. If you have a favorite child,
Yeah.
don't expect the other one to don't have communication, lack of communication skills or insecurity problems. Because you are going to give them insecurity problems and lack of communication skills.
Look.
And the problem is you.
Yeah, look. Okay, wow, Dan's quite angry today. Did you hear that, friends? The problem is you. Oh, Dan, I'm going to get you a chocolate later. He hasn't had his breakfast. Look, Dan, I understand what you're saying, right? So if favoritism is very noticeable among siblings, right, Dan? I agree with you. I agree. And that is bad parenting, right? If you're, doting on one and castigando and telling off the other. If favoritism is very noticeable, then of course you're going to create problems. But, on a softer note, I mean, having a preference doesn't mean that you're going to demonstrate any favoritism, does it? Not really. I mean, I get what you're saying, Dan. I get what you're saying. Like, parenting is probably the most important job in society, and it's upon the parent to love and cherish each child in the same degree. And I agree with you, I think one of the side effects of parenting is passing on your trauma to your kids, isn't it? But parents are human beings, in my mind, Dan. And I don't want to poo-poo your ideas because, you do make a good point. I just think you're coming at the point from a parenting style and not from a humanitarian style. Just like, it's just normal and natural to have to more easily connect with one person than another. And children, I don't think, are any different, right? But, of course, I appreciate your opinion, Dan. Of course I do. All right. Should we get to the results of the poll? I think we should. Oh, my God. Hang on. Artemisa says, can I ask you a question, Dan? Do you have a favourite parent? Oh, ole. Do you have a favourite parent? That doesn't mean you love less than the other one. Go on. Do you have a favourite parent?
No.
You love them both exactly the same.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You have a problem. Who do you go to?
Well, the first one I have in hand. Do you see
The first one at hand, or the person that I find the first, or the first one at hand is actually Nivelath, Dan. Well done to you. The first one at hand, the closest. But connection can be easier with one of them. Yeah, do you have an easier relationship with one than the other?
I don't know. I mean,
you don't have to tell us which one because they might be listening. But do you have an easier relationship with one than the other?
maybe.
Okay, well, that's all right. Look, I don't want to press you, Dan. I don't want to press you.
Well, I'm not the role model for my parents.
It's true. It's true, Dan. Look, poor Dan. He's experiencing some trauma right now in this show. I'm sorry, dude. Sasha says, that's a good question, Artemisa. I thankfully dislike my parents equally, but tolerate my mum for the sake of my kids. Look at me. Just sitting here at 8:30 in the morning, peeling off some generational torment. Let's get to the results of the poll, shall we? So, I made the statement, and I'm really sorry, Dan. I can't afford to pay for therapy for you, but, I'm always here to talk. I said parents almost inevitably have a favorite child. Los padres casi inevitablemente. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Inevitablemente.
Tienen un hijo favorito. And you guys said 100% true, Dan. Sasha says, you can really feel the love here today. Look, if I don't get the chance to reveal some major trauma in my listeners, then I'm not really having a good week, am I, Dan? As Dan would have it, I'm a terrible person. Anyway, let's wrap this up, shall we? When it comes down to it, I think Dan's right. When it's very, very obvious that a parent has a favourite, you can see a different, maybe more sharper tone when talking to one kid over another. I think that's really problematic, isn't it? I think that's really problematic, and you might say that is, that you kind of, you're creating a little bit of trauma in that child. It's what we might call bad parenting. But the fact of the matter is, I think, we're born to show preference, one thing over another. There are structures in our brain that are designed specifically to do that. So the idea that there won't be a preference, I think, is a little naive. But showing that preference, demonstrating that preference, I think that's maybe the problem. To meet Dan in the middle a little bit. But there you go, friends. You know what Grandpa Bo would say about all that, right? He would say, Rob, that's just your opinion, and opinions, they're like buttholes. Everyone has one. They all stink, including mine. Let's move on to today's 100 Humans. All right, friends, here we are. It was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys. And on that walk, I encountered 100 humans, and I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name a reason a child might be the parent's favorite. Nombra una razón por la que un hijo podría ser el favorito de sus padres. That's today's 100 Humans question. I asked them that question. They gave me their answers. I'm in possession of the top 7. Your job in the audience is to identify the top 7 answers. All right, Dan. Kick us off, man.
The funniest one.
The funniest one. Más gracioso. Can't give it to you, Dan. Sorry. Jeez, though. That would be a terrible reason. Well, who's your favourite? Oh, that one. Tells better jokes.
I don't want to say it.
Go on, Dan. Go on. I won't poo-poo you.
I know someone, and you know it.
Yeah, I know.
That it was the reason.
Yeah, it's true. It's not a good reason, but it was a reason given at one point. I have so many points and I can't really use them. Thank you for using your stream points here, Sasha. Okay, Gigi says a similar personality. Similar personality. Tener una personalidad parecida, right? Similar personality. Is that there? Yes, it is. Well done, Gigi. She's on fire today. 5 of 100 humans said that. 6th place. Well done. They snitch when the siblings do something. Eesh. Yeah, maybe almost too specific, that one, Sasha. I can't give it to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Then the more needy, the child that needs the most help. It's a good answer, but it's not there. Vero says being the only child. That's a guaranteed way of being the favourite, isn't it? Being the only child. Sadly, not there either. Okay, let's take a look at our friends on Instagram. I'm not going to read out every name because I know that annoys a lot of people mentioning no names. Big thank you to Zazu, Juan Arreo, Emily, MP Contel, Tigre Devil, Ivan Samaroff, Anna Kasan, Ivan GP, Carlos, and many, many others. Thank you. Carlos says, because it's the only one. Yeah, he agrees, the only child thing. So he is my favourite and my least favourite at the same time. Fair point, isn't it? Ivan GP says, having been born first. Having been born first. So he's saying the eldest child is the favourite. Is being the eldest child there? No, it's not. That's not there, but as to prompt the audience, maybe the opposite might be true. Ooh. The kid could be very affectionate with them, says Annika San. Most affectionate child? Que sea el más cariñosa. Is that there? Yes, it is. Well done. Well done. 6 of 100 humans said that. It's in 3rd place. Well done. Similar interests. I can't give it to you, sorry. Or the order of birth. Artemisa says being the smallest one, being the wee one. Smallest, the youngest child. Is that there? The youngest child. Ser el hijo menor. Yes, it is. Well done. Well done, audience. We'll dive back into Instagram right now. Ivan Samaroff says, good behavior. They're well behaved. Que se porte bien. Is that there? Well done, Ivan Samaroff. It is there. With 43 of 100 humans, it's the number one answer. Yeah, that's the number one answer. 43. Well done. Parents see themselves more in one than the other child, says Tigre Devil. That was their similar personality. MP Contel says he or she has the same opinions. That's kind of like similar personality, isn't it? They are more like them than the other child. Juana Reodo says warmth. I guess that falls into most affectionate. Intelligent, says Zazu. Intelligent. Well, if a child is... I know you hate it when I do this now. But if a child is the most intelligent, van a sacar mejores notas, no? Can you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So, best grades. Sacar las mejores notas. Is that there? Yes, it is. Well done. Zazu, well done. All right. There are 2 more answers to get. All right. Perhaps later on in life, you draw comparisons with where 2 children might end up. One perhaps struggling with their career and finances, but the other one is more what? That might be there. Oof. That one child is just more what? And the other answer you're missing is that, it's hard to maintain a home. Perhaps one may... I can't give you too much of a clue on this one. What do you think, Dan? What do you think? There are 2 kids. One is struggling with their finances and career, and the other one is more... talented or like... éxito. What's the translation? Successful. Well done, Dan. Que tenga éxito. 29 of 100 humans said successful. Second most popular answer.
You're gonna create insecurity problem.
Look, I didn't...
No, look at your brother. He's the successful one. You're gonna create the insecurity problem.
Oh, look, dude. I ask the 100 humans and they say what they will, so... All right. Hard to maintain a home, One kid's just sat on the sofa doing nothing and the other is being very... What's the word I'm looking for, friends? What's the word I'm looking for? The other is being very what? What do you think, Dan?
No, I don't.
You don't want to contribute to any generational trauma, do you?
I guess the other one is more estudioso, maybe, or something like that.
You know, perhaps they're doing the dishes, perhaps they're helping clean. Oh, I've just said the word. Helping. Damn it. Helpful was the last one. Yeah, sorry guys. Ser servicial, I guess. That might be a word. That was there. Hard working, says Gigi. Thank God someone said it before I spoiled it. Hard working, helpful. Well done, friends. You've completed today's 100 humans. Let's go through the list. Name a reason a child might be the parent's favorite. Nombra una razón por la que un hijo podría ser el favorito de sus padres. In position number 7, we had the best grades, sacar las mejores notas. In position number 6, with 5 of 100 humans, we had similar personality. Tener una personalidad parecida. Parecida a los padres, digo yo. In position number 5, helpful. Ser servicial, helpful. Of your parents, Dan, which one are you the most similar to?
I guess my mother.
Your mum. In position number 4, we had the youngest child, ser el hijo menor. Ser el hijo menor, the youngest child. In position number 3, we had the most affectionate. Que sea el más cariñoso. In position number 2, with 29 of 100 humans, we had the most successful child, might be the favorite. Que tenga más éxito, que tenga éxito, success. And finally, in position number 1, que se porte bien, they're well-behaved, 43 of 100 humans. I apologize if I've caused any trauma there, especially to Dan. But thank you so much for listening, guys. It's been a lot of fun today. Again, what is this show about? Just opinions, so don't take it too seriously. Don't forget, call 911-335-833, and don't forget your new Instagram account to follow and cherish, @Vaughan Radio. Find content and news about everything that's coming up in the Vaughan Radio landscape. I'll be there. We'll all be there, guys. See you next time.